Hello there, welcome to the Signal Box today. Thank you very much for joining me. And wherever you are watching from out there, thank you for your likes and comments. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. And we'll crack on with another video today. So, just a little brief quick video today in terms of Scenic updates. I've got nothing running today on the layout. It's not wired up. There's no buildings, no trains, nothing. Just bare baseboard as you see on it. Everything on that you see here is glued or stuck down. So there's nothing additional going on today because I want to use today as a little bit of a scenic day in terms of a bit of scenic maintenance and reorganizing things and some ideas that I've had. I'm still waiting for my static grass kit from WWS Scenics up in Cardiff, up in Wales. And there was a bit of a mix up with that. And I'll just briefly explain. I'll try not to rant too much. And if I do, please forgive me. So I ordered on eBay the WWS Scenic Grass applicator pack, which comes with an applicator, the basing glue, the fixing spray, and about I think 4 or 5 different shades and mil of static grass, from 2 mil up to 6 mil. Anyway, ordered it all on eBay, paid for it and everything, and they sent a confirmation that it had been paid for and it had been dispatched, but there was no tracking number. It said Royal Mail 48. So normally in the UK, that means within 48 hours, 2 days. By the second day or so, you get it. Anyway, time had elapsed, and by Saturday, it hadn't arrived. So I phoned them on Monday this week, and I spoke to the guy on the phone, and he said, there's been an error in the system. And basically, it says on the computer that, or on your eBay receipt, that it's been dispatched. In fact, physically, it hasn't left our factory because we didn't have the glue in stock. But now we got it since last Thursday, and we're now dispatching your item. We're sorry about that. And I said, well, where's the communication, first of all? That you could have notified me there was a problem because you had a lack of product in stock, but you had shipped it out as a quick dispatch. None of that. So if I hadn't phoned up, they wouldn't have told me. Anyway, that's point number one. And the second thing was, they said, we'll use a company, we'll use Amazon shipping to get it to you a bit faster, so it should arrive in a day or so. I said, okay, so we're looking at possibly Tuesday. So when I went on to my order on eBay, it said label created at 12:30 Friday afternoon. And he said, I'll keep an eye on the order, and as soon as it goes out, I'll update you. So I didn't have any of that at all. No communication from WWS Scenics about that. I had to physically go online and track through basically I phoned up and I said, where's the tracking number? It's me again. Spoke to you the other day. There's no tracking number. Yes, I'll put it on your receipt now, which he did. And then to use the tracking company, you think it was quite simple. Like on Amazon, when you buy something in the UK from Amazon, normally it gives you a dispatch number or a tracking number, and you can track sometimes where it is. It gives you a rough estimate how long you're going to get it. With Amazon directly, if you buy something directly from Amazon, not third party, but directly from Amazon brand, wherever you live in the world, guaranteed you can get it sometimes the same day or next day, if that is pretty good. If you've got Amazon Prime, for example, well, they're using a third party. So anyway, in short, they're using a company called Whistle, minus the E on the end. And if you live in the UK, I'm not sure if you've experienced this company before, but for me, they are absolutely appalling. Trying to go onto their website trying to find out where your item is a nightmare. You can't speak to anybody. They are only interested if you're a business customer or you're a member of the company. They don't have any dedicated staff to talk to about your tracking item. And when you go on there, the tracking information is actually incorrect and inaccurate. The last I got it was, it's been passed to the courier, and that was 2 days ago. Well, where is it? And there's no way I can find out. I phoned up their customer service number, which is for tracking items. It gave me a very short and sharp message, about 5 seconds long. We've tried to contact you about your item. I'm sorry. And the phone would literally cut off. I thought, that is complete manure. So, not impressed with that. Absolutely naff. So, hopefully, my static grass should arrive today. I'm not sure. You've probably got more chance of seeing a train run on my railway in the next video than my static grass turning up. What a disaster, eh? Anyway, I'm just waiting for that. But in the meantime, This is the water tower in question I was talking about the other day that I think is far too clunky for the location. It's a nice item, but it belongs in a bigger depot, like with a turntable or a bigger space of operation. So it's a little bit too clunky. So again, I've replaced it with that. And I think if we compare the two in that shot like that, you can see what's the better fit. I think it's the ratio kit, this one here. It looks far better. And it sits there quite nicely. It's being held down by PVA glue at the moment, neat PVA. Once that goes off, you won't see the white, it dries clear. I've put it round that side, so the business side of it, i.e. the front of the tank, is loco depot side, because obviously staff need to see how much water in the tank is there for all the steam locos and the water cranes. That looks much better there. Very happy with that. So a better fit. That's that. If we come across the railway with the camera today, I've also, no, I'm not building Bondi Beach over there, although that is sand. That's actually, in that container, is what is known as sharp sand. It's not the kind of sand you get at the seaside, different grade of sand. This is a more coarser grade, and it's used for builders and constructions when you're building brick walls and doing foundation work. This is sharp sand, it's builder's sand. Again, it's very coarse, and it's normally very damp when it gets delivered in the 1-ton bags from the builders merchants. It's very coarse sand. I got this many years ago when I built the previous layout, when I lived in a house and I had the bigger layout. One of my next door neighbours, but one, was having some work done in their front garden, and there was a big pile of supplies and a big giant pile of sharp sand, and I just asked them very nicely, would you mind if I have some in a container if you don't need it all? And they were quite happy. So there we go. This stuff is very good once it's dried. I've put it down here and I'll explain why. If we come around with the camera today, I'll show you basically why there's sand everywhere. Once that goes off, there's neat PVA obviously underneath there, which it's sticking to. It's bonding to the PVA. It will be very good. What I've done there is just sprinkled it over the wet PVA glue. Once that dries fully, I'll then get a vacuum cleaner and vacuum off all the excess sand and mess, so you won't see it. It'll just be the sand itself. What I wanted to do is create sort of a dirt path from into the churchyard itself, along the churchyard and into the churchyard around the grave sites to simulate a pathway. So what I want to do is make an earthy kind of appearance. If you look at the gravestone over there, that's exactly what I did with the sand. That's basically dried sharp sand. Again, I put some acrylic watercolours over that, and I think it looks half decent. But what really will make this look good, once it's all finished and it's painted, then we're going to bring in the static grass around the edges of it, and it will make that whole churchyard come to life. Hopefully the static grass will arrive, although I think you've got more chance of seeing a train run on it on my railway than the static grass turning up from bloody Swansea. But anyway, no, in all seriousness, I think it will turn up today, hopefully. So that's why I've got the baseboard set up today, just in case it arrives and I can get cracking on and start laying some scenic grass. But yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment. So that's going to dry. The great thing about it is once the first layer is dry, if you want to build it up, you can then go over it again with dry sand, and then use a mixture of, I use 50-40 ratio water PVA mix. And I basically drop that in with a teaspoon over the dry sand. It soaks it all up. And if we come over here, I'll show you what I did with that idea about 3 years ago when I built this layout. The sand drag up there by the buffer stops, exactly the same idea. Just sand heaped up and built up in layers with wet PVA, soaked in there, and within about less than 24 hours that went off lovely. And that is literally like diamond rock now. It's very hard. Well in there, it's well set for life in there, so it does work really well. But yeah, if you see any sharp sand about, be it a builder's project, or there's someone's building something near you, you can always ask them very nicely, say, hey, would you mind if I take like a cupful for a little project? And 9 times out of 10, most people will be quite obliging. Obviously, you don't need a ton of the stuff, just need about maybe a little bit in a container, but that lasts me ages. I've had it over 10 years, so as you can see, you only need to put a little bit. But it's gone off, or starting to go off there. As you can see, the darker areas of the glue where it's soaking through nicely. So we'll leave that, won't fiddle with it, and we'll leave it to dry. The other little project I'm working on, so obviously the static grass will obviously be put in the cess area, which is, the cess is the outside area of the track nearest to the embankment or the offside the track. That'll all be static grass all around there. Again, it'll all be transformed, hopefully, when we get the darn stuff. Anyway, the other little project I've been working on is, if we come down here, here is the finished doctor's surgery. So again, this is the super quick kit that I really tidied up last night. Actually, I finished this last night because it was a little bit battered. As mentioned, it's a super quick card kit, so they're not the most strongest of kits out there on the market. If I'm going to build a card kit, I was thinking about building a card kit, my primary choice would always be Metcalfe models. They do some outstanding kits. The school building over there at the end of the lane, that's a super quick card building. It's not in bad condition, but again, it's quite flimsy in some parts, and I think the Metcalfe ones are far more superior because the material they use is much more thicker, and it's just a better kit. But these are sort of acceptable. And what I've done with my super quick building here, it was quite tatty and bashed up and a little bit patchy in some places where the material had come off or sunlight damage. So what I've done with the roof here, last night I gave it a little coating of some weathering powder, and then I just fixed that in place with some Rail Match matte vinyl spray, which I think has worked a treat on there. And I've just added some vegetation up on, obviously on the roof there by that chimney. There was a big glue mark there, so I basically just covered that up with a little bit of vegetation there. On the other side, what I've done is run it down the chimney as well with some Scenic, this is Woodlands Scenic bush material, what you put on tree covering. And I just dropped in some roses and some flowers there with some acrylic watercolours. Just dropped those in with a paintbrush. Very simple effect, but I think it looks quite nice. If we come round the other side of the building, I've done the same idea, but I've used some Gauge Master Sea Moss foam trees. The stuff that's made out of, I had some left over in the tree box, and I just basically, with that idea, I just took a little bit and I rolled it between my two hands like a cigar, and then just basically crumpled it up a little bit, fixed in place with a drop or two of super glue, and then dropped in some rose flowers on there with some acrylic paint. Again, watercolours, very handy, that sort of thing, works well. The back of the house, nothing too special, but I think it's quite a nice building there. I'm quite happy with that. And it isn't finished yet because the back garden there, as well as the front, will need to be static grassed as and when we have it. But the upper roof gables was a stroke of luck last night because those upper roof gable barge boards, I had the exact match colour in my paint box. So they were all sort of showing white around the edges and all frayed. So I came in last night with a paintbrush and carefully went over those and brought those back up to the nice bright green colour, which I think looks good. And the notice board there, the name board, Dr. P. Ingalls Surgery, that's all scratch built, and I made that from some offcuts of plastic, which were basically the plastic sprue frets from an old model kit that I kept, all the fret parts. Again, I say it again, if you build a model kit and it comes on plastic frets, don't throw the fret pieces away, because they make excellent pipe work or excellent framework. As you can see, you can make it and knock up a little thing like this. Everything from the wooden legs to the framework I did scratch built. That's a piece of plastic card it sat on with a piece of normal thick paper card as the background, and the lettering, I think they're Coopercraft. Yes, they are. They're Coopercraft letters that you stick on big name boards for stations and things like that. I had some odd letters left over. And the thing that when you make up a Cooper Craft lettering set on your station name boards, which is what they were for, it's always the way that you got spare letters left over. And it's a bit like a game of Scrabble, because you have to see if you've got all the letters present to make up something you want to do. So I thought, oh, sod's law. And in the world of the railway, there is a wonderful law called sod. And when sod happens, sod kicks in. So I thought, is sod's law going to prevent me from making up this name board? So I sourced all my letters on the table last night, and I put them all out. And I think, okay, now what have we got? And we just about did it. The only letter that I couldn't do on this name board was the Y at the end of surgery. So I had to use a letter V, a little bit of the bottom of a letter T, and knock up a Y letter at the end of surgery. And I think it doesn't look too bad. It doesn't notice so much. That's all hand painted. Again, life was made very, very easy with some very high quality artist brushes that I got last year and I haven't used, and they came in a treat last night on doing things like this. There's PVA holding it in place. It's just drying at the moment, but again, when I get some static grass, I'm going to tidy all that up, and we're going to obviously address all that issue in the front there, make that a bit more nicer. Anyway, I think that don't look half bad there. I think it looks okay. I'm quite happy with that. Again, there's loads of work to do on the ground around it, so we're going to bring in some static grass and some little flowers and put in some bits there. We might even have old Peter Ingalls and his wife Mary outside, maybe. I don't know, Mary's scrubbing the steps or something like that, I don't know. And there's a little boy and his mum going into the doctor's surgery. It could be me, it could be anybody. But anyway, that's all the part of the fun of model railways, isn't it? So what used to be there, obviously, was the crossing keeper's house, or the railway cottage on the corner there. It's like an L-shaped building. So I'm hoping I can put it somewhere else. It's a bit tight, but I think I might be able to find a home for it. If I don't, well, obviously not, but I will definitely try and find a place for it. But in the meantime, there's a little quick video of what's going on so far today. So don't forget, all importantly, if you like and subscribe, keep an eye on what's going on the channel. And definitely in the next video, hopefully, my static grass would have arrived. I can start putting it down, and we'll transform this and bring a bit of colour and dimension into this model railway. In the meantime, take care. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. And I'll see you soon in the next episode of The Signal Box. Take care now. Goodbye.